Welcome to Wrestling Territories podcast. Tonight, I want to do something just a little bit different. Normally, I do podcasts about 80s pro wrestling, some 70s, early 90s stuff. But tonight, I want to talk about AEW and WWE. And I've been seeing a lot of this online lately, whether it be on X or TikTok, and people just bashing each other because AEW is better or WWE is better. And honestly, I really believe that there's room for both. And to me, um, you know, uh, competition is what's makes things better, right? Whether it be in retail or fast food or whatever, competition brings out the best in whatever you're doing, right? So to me, having multiple organizations, AEW, WWE, NWA, MLW, all these organizations are good, and they have something for everybody, right? I mean, you're going to have your diehard AEW fans and your diehard WWE fans. That's fine. That's all well and good, but there's no sense in bashing each other over the head about it. To me, both organizations can coexist pretty well. This ain't really a Monday Night War situation. Monday Night War was a huge thing for the '90s, and I tell you what, as a fan back in that day, I can tell you right now, I enjoyed the heck out of pro wrestling back in the '90s. We um, we would go not only to WCW Nitros or pay per views like Fall Brawl, we were going to see local promotions, GAWF here in North Carolina. And the thing of it was, the Monday Night War really did put the best out there for both organizations. They fought hard. They had to do that to survive. And it brought out great competition. And then the local organizations were feeding off of that, and they were bringing out the best in theirs too. Because I can tell you, going to these local organizations and rooting for the heels and having a good time, like I've talked about in the past podcast, it really brought out the best in pro wrestling from, let's say, about 95 to 99 until WCW started going downhill because of all the stuff going on, like Vince Russo and all that stuff going on. But to me, that time frame in professional wrestling was huge. And I don't think right now it is quite as huge as it was in the '90s as far as like people being overexcited. And I think part of that has to do with the fact there is no Monday Night War. There's no AEW on Monday night competing against Raw or competing against SmackDown on Friday nights. And Rampage is gone now. So Rampage is like came on after SmackDown anyway. So it was never really in direct competition with SmackDown. So would it be good to see that again? Oh yeah, heck yeah, it'd be great to see that again. It'd be great to see either a Monday Night War or a Friday Night War. And I can tell you right now, if I was AEW, I'd move Collision to Monday night just just to have that little bit of competition, see what happens. But it is good for both organizations. It's great to see this. It's wonderful because AEW has something for people. WWE has something for people. The NWA, MLW, all these organizations that you see out there, the local organizations like Booker T's down in Texas, and was it the Nightmare Factory? I think they're in Georgia. Um, there's something for everybody out there to watch, right? I mean, to enjoy and have a good time with. And I like. I'm well. Let's put it this way: I'm not a diehard wrestling watcher. Let's say I'm more of your casual watcher right now. I keep up with everything. I'll watch and see what's going on. I'll watch as much as I can. I don't see all the episodes and stuff, but I do keep up with everything that's going on. And I catch highlights, I catch clips, and I'm staying interested in both organizations. Like right now, the Seth Rollins CM Punk thing is pretty cool. I like Seth Rollins a lot. I'm not a huge fan of CM Punk, but the same with the Bloodline stuff. I'm not really a big fan of Roman Reigns or Solo, you know, but I do like Jey Uso a ton. Jey Uso is one of my favorites, and Damian Priest. Over on the AEW side, I like MJF. I like Adam Cole and Matt Taven, Bennett. I like all these guys like that in AEW that are trying to put their best foot forward too. And Kyle Fletcher, Osprey, there's guys over there really working hard. But and I know people bash them and beat them down, and I get that. And I just hate seeing it. I just think that having competition is great, and just enjoying it. You know, you're going to have fans that like both, that sit down and watch both and enjoy it. And that's why we should be. We should enjoy it and not really beat each other over the head with it. I don't think. I don't see why we should do that. It's not really a smart idea, right? So we can have good time with it. Now, when I go back and think about the '90s, so I will go back a little ways. Or we'll go back to the '90s. We'll go back to you go back before the Monday Night Wars. WCW is kind of on the teetering side. WWF was on the teeter. They neither one were really drawing massive crowds, right? WWF was still kind of the cartoonish type situation. WCW had Sting, and then whoever else was there at the time. Sting feuded with almost everybody from Vader to Rude to Flair to whoever was the big heel at the time. And a lot of excitement going on back in the early '90s, right? But when the Monday Night Wars happened, it was unbelievable, how good that was going to be for both organizations. Even though WWF almost went out of business, Bischoff has his 83 weeks podcast. It was 83 weeks, but the WWF was not live. They had to become a live show on Monday nights to stay competitive. And, they went from having their big superstars like Hogan and Macho Man to building brand new superstars like the Hitman and Shawn Michaels and others. And it was good. It took both organizations, they built it up good, right? I mean, the NWO, DX, people were engaged heavily in that time frame from about 95 to 99. People were really heavily engaged in both organizations. I remember having many discussions in a break room of the store I worked at with coworkers, and we talk about Monday night all the time. What do you think is going to happen on Raw? What do you think is going to happen on Nitro? We talked about that all the time. So it brought out, the conversations, but we didn't beat each other down over things like that. But it was good. It was fun to talk about. And it's good to see that professional wrestling is still in that type of situation where the competition is bringing out the best. And I would have to agree to a certain extent that WWE is kind of pulled further ahead than AEW, probably a decent amount. But it's that long term storytelling that's really helped the WWE with that a lot. And the fact that Vince McMahon's not there running the whole show again, and Triple H is doing a heck of a job, and kudos to him and everybody that's working with him. AEW, there's some lessons to learn there, I guess. Long term storytelling is a huge thing, and telling good stories in the ring. Having good matches is great. Having dream matches is great, but you really got to tell the good stories. And I think AEW tries. I think they try to get that going. And believe you me, there's going to be a spark that AEW is going to hit that they could pass WWE at some point in time. You never know. So don't count them out. I remember back when Nitro was beating Raw completely up, and then all of a sudden Raw pulled ahead, right? Mick Foley winning the world title. That was huge for him. It can take one cool storyline that can blow the whole thing up and help that organization out. So don't count AEW out. All right. I don't count them out. I think they're going to do fine. You just got to find your niche. You got to figure out where the fans are going, and stay away from that gray area. I think there's a lot of gray area as far as heels and faces, but that makes a difference when you had the heels way over, like the Horsemen were. The Heenan family, people like that. You get the heels going in a good direction, you get the faces going in a good direction. People will love it. They will absolutely love it. And then having surprises here and there. I keep hearing Shane McMahon could show up in AEW. That could happen. I don't know, but if it does, it's really going to spark a ton of interest in AEW if Shane McMahon shows up. If not for a very long time, at least for a period of time. So that's kind of good. But building their homegrown stars, they got some good, like I said, Fletcher, Osprey, those guys are good. You got MJF, one of the best heels in the business. So they got good organization there. They got good teams there. They got good whatever groups or whatever you want to call them. They're good. So AEW could pass WWE sometime. I know some people are going to roll their eyes and say, "Oh yeah," but don't count them down. People counted the WWF down back years ago. Matter of fact, you could hear some of the superstars talk about back then. They thought they were going to go out of business and not even be able to have a job any longer. So the WWF kept fighting. AEW is going to keep fighting. The NWA, MLW, all these are going to keep. It's just good. Competition is good, and if I was you, I would just enjoy it every single day, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, whatever day. Enjoy the competition. Enjoy AEW. Enjoy WWE, and don't beat each other down. It's enough for everybody. Enjoy it. Until next time, God bless. See you soon.